Hey guys, my name is Janae and I make videos about cycling, bike commuting, and all the tips I'm learning about biking in major cities. And today I want to talk about my most recent race in Denver, Colorado. So to kick things off, I'll give a brief overview of my trip to Denver. So the race was held on September 23rd of this year, and it offers several different route options. I signed up for the 85, but I'll share more about that later. The cost to register was around $120. It changes as it gets closer to race day, so make sure you register early to get the best rate. The race started and ended in the Central Park neighborhood of Denver, which is a little bit outside of the downtown area, but still around a lot of shops and hotels if you're coming in from out of town. Now, my friend and I flew out there from New York, and this was my first time going to Denver, so I was pretty excited to go, but race day didn't go as planned. First of all, I ended up waking up sick. Thankfully, it wasn't COVID, but I did have a pretty bad cold, which made me feel like I wasn't operating at 100%, so it already wasn't off to the best start. Also, I actually ended up missing my route split during the race, which basically when the route change split between the 50-mile route and the 85 or 100, I missed my turn and ended up on the 50-mile route. And honestly, after feeling sick throughout the distance, I felt like that was pretty much just the sign that I needed to tell me that I should just continue on the 50. I forgot to put my sunglasses back on, and a bug flew straight into my eye, like went down into my eyelid. It was really gross, and it took me a long time. I had to pull over and try to get it out of my eye. Granted, I was on the bike, so my hands were dirty. I wear contacts too, so I was trying to make sure I didn't accidentally pull my contact out while I had no contact solution or a mirror to even help. It was just a mess. Also, the bike that I ended up using was a rental from the REI flagship store that they have in Denver. This is the bike. I just picked up my ride packet and I'm pretty much ready to go for tomorrow morning. It's just a standard rental from REI, one of their co-op bikes. I think it's a 9-speed, I think. Disc brakes, yeah, pretty simple. It's a bike. It's a bike, and it was in my price range. I just hope it holds up. This was a really good option, honestly, because the bike held up. It was affordable, and it was very easy for me to pick it up and drop it off to them. They also provided a kit to repair just in case I got any flats, so it was honestly a pretty good deal. I'm working my way up to being able to fly with my own bike, but until I get to that point, I will have to deal with rentals for now. And now let's get into some of my notes from the event. I have 4 things that I liked and 4 things that I disliked about the event. Starting with my first disliked was the poor signage. I kind of alluded to this earlier. Signage along the routes was just not that great throughout the race. In the beginning, a lot of the major intersections in the downtown area were heavily manned. There were a lot of people assisting and flagging to show riders where to go and where to turn and announcing changes that came up. That assistance became more and more sparse as you got further out. You kind of had to navigate it yourself, so I advise if you're going to do this, and if they don't end up improving the signage along the way, that you make sure that you know where your turns are, especially if you are riding further out, so you don't miss yours like I did. Number 2, it was not very scenic. So one of the reasons why I like doing these long distance rides in different cities is because I think it's a great way to see a new city. I come for the views, I expect to see great views, and I try to choose places where I can see something that I don't get here at home. Now, like I mentioned, I ended up doing the 50-mile route instead of the 85, so maybe had I done the longer routes, I would have gotten better viewpoints. There was a good chunk that pretty much just rode through a lot of suburban neighborhoods, which was just us passing through cookie cutter homes and driveways for a good stretch of it, which I don't consider to be scenic, but maybe others might find it pleasant. Number 3, no bike racks at aid stations. This was a surprise to me because I thought that this was a standard across bike races or bike events, but they didn't have any of the bike racks where you can just hang your bike by the seat for a quick stop, to use the restroom, grab a snack, or rest. These were not at most of the aid stations. I think at most I saw them towards the end, which is maybe they just didn't have enough to put them throughout and at the end. Most people just ended up laying their bike flat on the ground at the aid stations or propping them up along a fence or against a tree. It wasn't ideal, but it didn't completely ruin the experience. Okay, number 4, the last one. And this is a big one for me. There was no finisher medal. Now, I understand not all of these races offer a medal, and it might contribute to an increased registration price. In true millennial form, I'm all about my participation medals, so I was pretty disappointed to find out that all we got was a t-shirt for completing the race. T-shirt is actually pretty decent. I ended up sleeping in it a lot because I like the quality of it, but I would much rather have a medal. I'm personally of the belief that if a bike event or long distance race or whatever is 50 miles or more, you deserve a medal. You get a goodie bag when you go to pick up your registration details, so your reward is kind of already given to you before you even do anything, which doesn't really take away from the experience, but it is kind of nice to finish and then have something to show for it at the end of the event. Maybe that's me just being picky. Okay, that's enough of the dislikes. Now we'll get into the likes. So like number 1, the packet pickup was quick and easy. Honestly, I got there and I was in and out in like 2 minutes. So I really didn't have to schedule too much time to stand in line or to be at the event in general. And it also happened to be really close to the hotel where we stayed at, so it was very convenient to get to the day before the race. Number 2, Denver's bike infrastructure. Now, I am a city planner for my day job, and I'm always looking out for really nice transportation infrastructure. And I was really impressed by Denver's use of really nice bike lanes, protected, and also their bike paths. Now, the route itself goes on and off of these bike paths, so you will get a chance to ride on some of them or pass by, and it really is a treat, and they are doing a pretty good job for the size city that Denver is. So shout out to the planners out there who are making it happen. Number 3, the aid stations had lots of snacks. Now, if you watched any of my other videos, you probably picked up on the fact that I always comment on snacks. It's one of the things I always look out for because I like to know how much do I need to pack to be self-sufficient and how much can I pick up along the way. The Denver Century had a fantastic variety of snacks. It was more than what I felt like I needed to choose from. There was so much there that I did not have to really worry about food. I actually ended up ending the race with way more snacks than I think what I started with, because I kept loading up on more and finding ones that I wanted to try that I had never purchased before. So they did a great job on making sure there was plenty of snacks and water at each of the aid stations. And lastly, number 4, the friendly cyclists. Everyone was very nice in Denver as a whole, but definitely along the ride. There were times when people would pass me and just shout out words of encouragement or strike up a conversation on long stretches, which kind of caught me off guard because honestly in New York everyone just minds their own business. I had to remind myself that I'm in Denver and people are friendly and they talk to each other even if they don't know each other. It was really nice, and it just made it even more fun to meet people along the way who were just enjoying being out and being out on the bike. Okay, well, that's it. Those were my 4 likes and my 4 dislikes for the 2023 Denver Century. Overall, I would say it was a decent event despite my little mishaps. I think if you live near Colorado, it's definitely worth it to attend or sign up. I personally felt like coming all the way from New York that maybe wasn't as worth it for as much money as I had to spend to get there and for the event itself, because it is a smaller event. But hey, that's just me. Ultimately, it was cool to see some mountains and to be somewhere I haven't been before. I got a chance to check out the downtown area and just get a feel for what Denver is like. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this video was helpful. I will provide a link to the race information in the description just in case anyone is curious or feels inspired to maybe sign up next year. Alright, like I said, my name is Janae. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.